Hey folks, me again. I don't know how many people watched this video or read about it in the news where the school district had a school board meeting and these Muslims wanted, I believe it's probably next Thursday, off for a religious holiday. Wanted school shut down for this religious holiday. Well, the school board refused to do it. And they had a legitimate reason, in my opinion, because the guy that was speaking for the school board at this school board meeting stated that, hey, it's 6 days before it happens. I've got thousands of kids that we have to think about. I can't change everything in 6 days just for this holiday for y'all. So it was shot down. Well, the Muslim community got all bent out of shape as per usual. We kind of expected that. At least I did anyway. I don't know if other people did or not, but I did. And then there was to me it was a threat, a veiled threat. They, one young lady that was speaking, a Muslim lady, was speaking. She says, take a look around here. We are no longer the minority, and soon we will be the majority. I take that as a veiled threat. And it scares me because I see this happening way too much. Way too much. I see stuff happening that should not be happening. We as Americans are on the verge of losing our country, losing our freedoms, losing our way of life. And everybody's focused on BLM, Black Lives Matter. Granted, Black Lives Matter, but not as much as everybody else. Everybody's life matters. And everybody's focused on that. They're not looking at the big picture and seeing what really needs to be focused on. We are slowly being invaded, and we're going to be totally invaded next year. Totally. 100,000 Syrian refugees coming into this country. Okay. Syrian refugees, that's cool. I can understand that, you know. But has anybody watched or looked at the videos that are coming out of Europe? Listen to what's being said and what's going on over there. No. The majority of the American people are not going to do that. Why? Because you're too damn lazy. You're too busy talking on your damn cell phone. You're too busy trying to prove that you're cool. Well, guess what? Nobody cares whether you're cool, and nobody cares what's on your cell phone, because you are the ones when you can't go anywhere on certain days. You can't eat this on certain. You can't eat pork. You can't do this. You can't do that, because it's no longer in America. You no longer have the freedoms. You can't own a gun because you don't have the freedom. You can't go fishing because you don't have the freedom. When that happens, you guys are going to be the ones screaming and hollering and crying and shouting. And the ones that have been trying to tell you what's happening, wake up, smell the coffee, we're all going to be standing on the sidelines laughing at your asses because it's too little too late. But that's enough of that. Anyway, they wanted this changed. And we're talking about Syrian refugees. 100,000 of them next year. That's a whole hell of a lot of people. But what I wanted to get at was, if anybody's been watching these videos and stuff, if you look at the videos, how many women and children do you see? Very, 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 very few. Very, very, very few. And if anybody remembers that picture of that cop carrying that little baby on that beach where these people came ashore, supposedly came ashore, well, it was proved that that was staged. That wasn't even a real cop. That was all staged for a picture op to use as propaganda to get sympathy for the Syrian refugees. Well, I've been watching these things, and I've been keeping an eyeball. I keep an open mind about it. You know, I hate to see anybody displaced from their home country because of terror or war or whatever. I hate to see it. But when you look at it, you see that 90% of them are young males. Young males. Are the lights starting to get a little brighter, folks? Young males between the ages, I would say, of 18 to 35. Young males. That tells me that those are Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Hamas, whatever the terrorist organization happens to be, infiltrators. And they're the ones that are refusing to take water from the Red Cross. They're the ones that are refusing to eat sandwiches that are given to them. They're the ones that are throwing rocks at the police, don't like being put into these refugee centers that are having cows over it. What's wrong with that picture? You know what's wrong with it? I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with it, because they're not Syrian refugees. They're not Syrian refugees. A true patriotic Syrian that loves his country would not have left. They would have stayed there and fight. Even if it was with sticks and rocks, they would have stayed there and fought. I mean, my God, look at when the Russians invaded Afghanistan. They were there for 20 years or longer, if I remember right, trying to take over that country. Well, that didn't work. The Afghans didn't give up. They fought. Finally, Russia said, "Oh, the hell with this noise. We can't beat these guys. We're out of here." They left. So you're going to tell me that those people in Syria are going to just run? No. That's not the way those people work. They're going to stay and they're going to fight. They're going to stay and they're going to fight. That's what we got to remember, folks. They're going to stay and they're going to fight. Just like in this country. And we're going to end up fighting. We're going to end up fighting to keep our freedoms. We're going to end up fighting to keep everything that we hold dear. And we got to stop this influx of refugees. We got to stop this influx of terror that's going on. We've got to stop it. And the only way to stop it is to cut off the head of the snake. Now, I don't know what would be the best way to do it. Impeach, wait till the elections, which are not going to happen. I can almost guarantee you that right now, folks. They're not going to happen. There's not going to be any elections next year. So you can count that goodbye. Unless we as Americans march on Washington, D.C., go up to Capitol Hill, go to the congressional buildings, and march inside and tell these fools, no, we're not doing this. That Iranian deal you made, no, it's not going anywhere. We're not dealing with it. We don't want it. It's not good for America. It's not good for anybody but the Iranians. These Syrian refugees, I'm sorry, we don't want them. We're not going to have them in this country. That's it, period. But we've got the bleeding hearts out there. Oh, them poor people. They're blinded by ignorance. They're not looking at the big picture. They're not looking at it's 90% male. Which means infiltration. Which means it's not who you think it is. And these people don't have documentation to prove they're from Syria. They don't have documentation to prove they're from any place that we would want them to be from. So wake up, people. And keep a vigilant eye, because I'm telling you right now, BLM is not the problem. BLM is a distraction to keep us watching, looking someplace else. It's a typical smoke and mirrors trick. It's the typical magician. He distracts you. He gets you to look someplace else while he does something else. That's the thing. People are not watching this. They're not seeing this. And we're being hoodwinked again. And I, for one, am not going to learn Arabic. I'm 61. I'm too damn old to be learning Arabic. And I, for one, am not going to give up my pork. I, for one, am not going to give up my hunting and fishing. I've worked too long, and I served this country for too many years to give it up. But if you namby-pamby assholes want to, fine, go ahead. I'll move someplace else. I'll go to some other country. Because I'm not going to play this game. Y'all take care. Have a good one. And God bless y'all.